All right, peace and love. And thank goodness that all is well despite appearances. Who was it? I was telling Sherilyn, and first of all, this is the Unity of Livonia Course in Miracles Study Group, and it is Tuesday, March 11th. And we've been around as a group for many years, and different people show up at different times, but as an organization, we've been around. We like what we do, obviously. That's why we keep coming back. And I was telling Sherilyn and Frank before we started about this new video show I'm doing. And it'll be on YouTube, and I've got the title of the video show. It's called the All Is Well Show: Teachings on Universal Happiness Through a Course in Miracles with Reverend Jim. And so I've been working on it really for a month or so now, and it's starting to come together, but I'm excited about it. So, as usual, I wanted you to be the first to know about my new project for 2025. So, I'll tell you more about it as things develop. I hope you'll like it. Um, is there anything anyone wants to comment on or share with the group before we move on?
I've recovered from my surgery here.
Oh, good.
Good.
Thank you, Frank. I'm glad you're doing better with
All the
that.
bandages are off, and I'm able to do all the
Was
things.
it an injury?
No, I needed a new pacemaker.
Oh, yes. I
It's
remember you were telling me about that. I didn't know you had the shoulder issue, though. So
no,
thanks for,
it's connected to my heart.
yeah, I
The
gotcha.
wire's going to a battery, and so they put it in a new battery.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better, sir. We all
I'm
are.
fine. I have more energy now. Before I had to use a walker, but I don't have to use a walker now.
Okay. Just still hanging in there, huh, Mr. Haas? You've got a lot still to offer here, don't you?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Must be.
I'm doing my part too, and we all are giving great performances on that great stage of Shakespeare, aren't we?
Sounds good.
And hey, maybe when we're done, we'll all go out to lunch.
That's a thought.
I'm out to lunch half the time. Okay.
When we played our roles and that. So thanks for that update, Frank. I really appreciate it. Um, I am, as I was sharing with you before we recorded, I'm getting a lot out of the Song of Prayer. And I guess for me, it resonates even more than the psychotherapy supplement, which I enjoyed. But this one is kind of a more heart directed study for me. And some of the things I read just kind of, they're so beautiful that if they're true, and I believe they are, that it's just so heartwarming and joyous and happy. So we are in the Song of Prayer. And if you'll remember, we started out with a brief introduction, and we started out talking about true prayer. And then there was this thing we talked about called, well, the
The
ladder
ladder.
of prayer. We're on, I would go with me. I'm on page 3 in the Song of Prayer. see Romans 2, the ladder of prayer?
Yes.
And remember, we talked about, or rather, Jesus discussed, how they're in level 2, where prayer is needed, there are levels, or it's like going up the rung of a ladder. And the lower rungs are very hard to get beyond. But once you're able to do the things needed in the lower levels, as you start to ascend up the ladder, things start to get easier and easier. True prayer is the song that was put in place at the creation in order to maintain a direct communication link between the Father and the Son. Is how am I doing with this so far?
Good. Good.
The communication link got covered over by the tiny mad idea. I don't have to explain the tiny mad idea anymore, do we?
No.
So there was something was needed to remove this interference so that the original communication could simply be reestablished. So the Song of Prayer first talks about what prayer is, this communication link. The tiny mad idea covered it over, and God's plan to remove those blocks. Here in level 2, it's a progression. And as we get beyond misunderstanding of what prayer is, then we can use it successfully to reestablish communication. But a lot of our understanding is from these notions that the world has taught us about what prayer is, about what forgiveness is, and about what healing is. So, first, Jesus talks about prayer. We did the ladder of prayer. Then on page 5, he talked about praying with others. I'm sorry, praying for others. And then on page 7, he talked about praying for others. And finally, he talked about when this ladder of prayer ends. Because you won't need the ladder forever. You'll only need the ladder until there's no difference between where you are and what prayer is. So there won't be a distance between you, which there never was, right, in level 1. But in level 2, it makes it appear like you have to do kind of a progressive ascendance to get there. Ultimately, though, the ladder itself falls away. Is this bringing back any memories? I'm working up to it. All right. So there are 3 sections to the Song of Prayer. 1 is called prayer, 2 is called forgiveness, and 3 is called healing. So we were in the section on forgiveness, which started on page 9. There was an introduction, and then in section 1, Jesus starts talking about forgiveness of yourself. And we didn't make it all the way through that section. We did the first 4 paragraphs, And tonight we are on paragraph 5. So that's my effort at a kind of review to get our minds in sync. I hope it's successful. And with that, unless you have anything, let's do our reading list and get started here, okay? Um, Frank, would you be reader 1?
Okay.
Carolyn 2, Joan 3. Hilda, are you reading?
I think I pass.
Okay. So I'll be reader 4. Maybe we'll have some more folks come in. If not, uh, we've got our list established and we can go from there. So, Mr. Haas, if you would get us started on paragraph 5, page 10.
Got it. Paragraph 5. This is the great deception of the world and the great deceiver of yourself. It always seems to be another who is evil, and in his sin, you are the injured one.
Wait, here, maybe some clarification is needed. Forgive me, Frank. Paragraph 5 says, this is the great deception of the world. What's the great deception of the world? Maybe that'll help, right?
Yes.
Would that be that last sentence in paragraph 4? Do not ever think you can see sin in anyone except yourself.
Joni is hot tonight. Yes, that's what I think it's referring to. So the great deception of the world is that you can see sin in someone besides yourself. Does that look like our world, that statement?
Yes.
Everybody's blaming everybody else?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So now, Frank, start 5 again, okay?
This is the great deception of the world, and you the great deceiver of yourself. It always seems to be another who is evil, and in his sin you are the injured one. How could freedom be possible if this were not so? You would be slave to everyone, for what he does entails your fate, your feelings, your despair or hope, your mercy or joy. You have no freedom unless he gives it to you. And being evil, he can only give what he is. You cannot see his sins and not your own, but you can free from him. You can free him and yourself as well.
Let's do another, okay, Shirley?
Okay. Forgiveness, truly given, is the way in which your only hope of freedom lies. Others will make mistakes, and so will you, as long as this illusion of a world appears to be your home. Yet God Himself has given all His sons a remedy for all illusions that they think they see. Christ's vision does not use your eyes, but you can look through His and learn to see like Him. Mistakes are tiny shadows quickly gone that for an instant only seem to hide the face of Christ, which still remains unchanged behind them all. His constancy remains in tranquil silence and in perfect peace. He does not know of shadows. His the eyes that look past error to the Christ in you.
You know, hey, let me just offer this as to help us remember. Let's look at the introduction for a moment. Do you see it on page 9, paragraph 1 there?
Yes.
Forgiveness offers wings to prayer. And somewhere else it says it's prayer's sister. Yeah, sentence 3. Forgiveness is prayer's ally, sister in the plan for your salvation. So, my understanding in terms of looking at the relationship between prayer and forgiveness and later on healing is that forgiveness is an adjunct to prayer. Stated another way, prayer is real. Prayer is level 1. Forgiveness is an adjunct to prayer in level 2. Somebody explain. It'll be important.
What do you mean, Jim? Prayer is level 1.
Prayer is true. It's real. It's eternal. Forgiveness is temporary. Why?
Number one, there is nothing to be forgiven.
Okay. Forgiveness is an erasing mechanism. It is therefore a level 2 tool. The purpose of forgiveness is to correct mistakes. In level 1, none of this ever happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here in level 2, where we believe we made mistakes, we're going to use that mechanism to correct mistakes. But it's got to be illusory because there never were any mistakes. It was all in your mind. It was the tiny mad idea. But even though it doesn't exist, I'm going to have to lovingly answer your prayers in terms you can understand. So here's what I'm going to give you in level 2 as an eraser for your mistaken beliefs. We're going to call it forgiveness. How are we doing now?
Better.
Okay. So now we're a little bit, I don't know if I needed to add that. I just felt the need to offer that. But we were reading on page 10, paragraphs 5 and 6.
Yeah.
So paragraph 5 just simply said, your mistake is that you try to make others sinful. That's the whole mistake. That's where we first need to begin the correction, is that the sin is never in them. The sin is in you. All right, let me add a little more. You got me going. Remember, this book says that everyone you see is a figment of your imagination. They're a witness to your thinking. So if you're having bad thoughts, you start seeing witnesses to tell you you're right. If you don't like seeing those effects, you don't go out and try and correct the effects. If you go in the bathroom and you see a smudge on your face in the mirror, where would you apply the solution?
To your face.
All right. So to go out and try and change the effects will not work because that's not the cause. They are the effects of the cause. That cause is your, if you will, egoic thinking. So if you don't like what you see, the place to correct it is in you. This is the great deception of the world, and you, the great deceiver of yourself. You think the problem is out there, but out there is only the effects of in you. Now, as crazy as that sounds, he's saying very directly, this is the problem. It's not what you think it was. Maybe he's not right, but he sure is going to he makes good case for everything that he says. Any comments from you on paragraph 5? Anything that resonated with you? Paragraph 6. Forgiveness truly given is the way in which your only hope of freedom lies. Sentence 7, yet God, I'm sorry, sentence 3, bear with me, I'm losing it here. Yet God himself has given all his sons a remedy for all illusions that they think they see. Y'all see where I'm reading?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is the remedy?
To see through
God's
Christ's eyes.
Well,
forgive.
yeah. I got that. But the word I'm thinking of that may be most helpful preliminarily starts with an F. What
Forgiveness.
is forgiveness? That is the solution. Now I'm going to tell you about the solution because it's been bitterly misunderstood and misappropriated. Okay? But that is the subject. Isn't that the subject of the section, forgiveness?
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Forgiveness is the remedy for our misguided sight. Now we're in paragraph 6, aren't we? And then
Yeah.
he's going to tell you what this remedy entails on a practical basis. What is it you must do? You must, he says, and now this is where you were in sentence 4. Christ's vision does not use your eyes, but if you want to forgive, you have
Look
to
through
use his. Your eyes will not show you the truth because your eyes merely show you the reflection of your thinking. That's what they were designed to do. Comments? You look a little puzzled here.
Yeah.
You have to replace what you're using to see. You have to use something that, despite all the appearances, can see through that crap and communicate to you truly through what is true. But you have to be willing to use that instead of what you've been using, the body's eyes. The body's eyes do not see. The body's eyes make images. They make the images you sent them to find for you. So you can't use those as a reliable guide. We better read some more. Y'all looking too speechless here. All right, Joe, we're up to 7. See if it gets better. I hope so.
Paragraph 7. Ask then his help and ask him how to learn forgiveness as his vision lets it be. You are in need of what he gives, and your salvation rests on learning this of him. Prayer cannot be released to heaven while forgiveness to destroy remains with you. God's mercy would remove this withering and poisoned thinking from your holy mind. Christ has forgiven you, and in his sight, the world becomes as holy as himself. Who sees no evil in it sees like him. For what he has forgiven has not sinned, and guilt can be no more. Salvation's plan is made complete, and sanity has come. So, does that say we have to ask the Holy Spirit for help to do this because it's difficult for us?
It's impossible for you.
Impossible. Okay.
We've gotten ourselves so wound up in our own mistake. Hey, I tell you, separate heavens, man, that was a cool idea. Who wouldn't want that? All separate ones would want it. But what would that do to oneness? You're reading The Disappearance of the Universe? Who's told?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, Arten or Persa said the Big Bang wasn't God creating the earth. The Big Bang was the separation. That was the big explosion, the shattering of oneness, seemingly into separate parts. That sounds like a blow up to me, right? You? The Big Bang was the tiny mad idea. How's that?
Sounds good. Sounds
I'm going to
reasonable.
blow this sucker up. And so we thought we did. But fortunately, it never happened. Joan, you asked a question, right?
Yes, about asking the Holy Spirit because we need help.
Whose eyes do you think Christ's vision uses? Starts with a H.
Heaven.
Oh, the Holy Spirit's eyes?
Okay, it's the same eyes that Jesus
Yeah.
uses. All right. It's just that Jesus actually demonstrated how to do that. Despite all of the appearances, even up to crucifixion, Jesus said, "You can't hurt me. I'm invulnerable because of what I am." Right? I'm not
Right.
an illusion of myself. I am as God created me. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. They don't know who they're dealing with. And we're all the same. Same message to me. At any rate, was that a decent response about, yes, you have to use the Holy Spirit? Because I'm so tied up with this other voice in my head that it's constantly pulling me away. Every time I choose for right mindedness, it pulls me to wrong mindedness. And I'm confused. I got two voices. So I have one that, if I can keep the other one down, knows what to do. My ego has no idea what to do. It does not know. Remember, not perceive, know anything. Why would you use it for a guide? Paragraph
Good.
8. Go ahead.
But you shouldn't use it for a guide. It's not a good one.
I mean, it's not complicated.
No,
It's just that nobody ever told us this story. And it makes as much sense as the crap out there. Maybe more. What do you think?
probably more.
Paragraph 8. Forgiveness is a call, excuse me. Forgiveness is the call to sanity. For who but the insane would look on sin when he could see the face of Christ instead? This is the choice you make, the simplest one, and yet the only one that you can make. God calls on you to save his son from death by offering Christ's love to him. This is your need, and God holds out this gift to you. As he would give, so must you give as well. And thus is prayer restored to formlessness, beyond all limits into timelessness, with nothing of the past to hold it back from reuniting with the ceaseless song that all creation sings unto its God. That was the first paragraph in this section where it said, prayer is the eternal song that God put in place to maintain direct communication with his kids. They get all of their needs met through this pipeline, right?
Mhm.
And it's not so, it's so holy, it's more of a song we sing to each other, something that's very intimate and heartfelt and holy and genuine. It's more of a song with ambiance and overtones and beauty, right?
Mhm.
Somebody, we're back to Frank for paragraph 9.
But to achieve this end, you first must learn before you reach where learning cannot go. Forgiveness is the key, but who can use a key when he has lost the door for which the key was made, and where alone it fits? Therefore, we make direct distinctions so that prayer can be released from darkness into light. Forgiveness' role must be reversed and cleansed from evil usages and hateful goals. Forgiveness to destroy must be unveiled in all its treachery, and then let go forever and forever. Then can be no trace of it remaining if the plan that God established for returning it achieved at last and learning to complete.
And you see, he's going to go into a whole section on forgiveness to destroy. Okay. But looking at paragraphs 8 and 9, um, any comments there? I guess that's all I can say. Anything jog in your, yes. Was there a comment? No? All right. Well, let's continue. We're up to Sherilyn White, right? For the last
Yes,
paragraph.
yes. This is the world of opposites, and you must choose between them every instant while this world retains reality for you. Yet you must learn alternatives for choice, or you will not be able to attain your freedom. Let it then be clear to you exactly what forgiveness means to you, and learn what it should be to set you free. The level of your prayer depends on this, for here it waits its freedom to ascend above the world of chaos into peace.
And maybe I should go back and just back to paragraph 9 and just reiterate sentence 4. Forgiveness's role must be reversed and cleansed from, from the evil usages and hateful goals. What he's saying there is that the world has misdefined what forgiveness is. And there are a lot of variations of this misdefinition. And I'm going to talk about some of those next, because what you might think of as forgiveness is really an ego substitute.
Mm-hmm.
In one version or another, it's what I would call forgiveness to destroy. Not, and this is not the forgiveness that will lead to salvation. So let me talk about that so we don't get tricked again. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Cheryl and Red, we're up to Joan in this new section, Forgiveness to Destroy.
Okay, paragraph 1. Forgiveness to destroy has many forms, being a weapon of the world of form. Not all of them are obvious, and some are carefully concealed beneath what seems like charity. Yet all the forms that it may seem to take have but this single goal. Their purpose is to separate and make what God created equal different. The difference is clear in several forms where the designed comparison cannot be missed, nor is it really meant to be.
All right, we're doing the parent. Frank, back to you, right? No, wait. Back
You're
to you.
next.
Thank you. We're on paragraph 2, page 12. In this group first, there are the forms in which a quote unquote better person deems to stoop to save a quote unquote baser one from what he truly is. Forgiveness here rests on an attitude of gracious lordliness, so far from love that arrogance could never be dislodged. Who can forgive and yet despise? And who can tell another he is steeped in sin and yet perceive him as the Son of God? Who makes a slave to teach what freedom is? There is no union here, but only grief. This is not really mercy. This is death. So that's one form of forgiveness to destroy. Sound familiar?
Oh,
Mhm.
Okay.
I forgive you.
Yeah, I saw you do it, but I forgive you
Forgive.
because I'm a liar. How dishonest is that? If you saw them do it, how can you say you didn't? Remember, the trick to this is not to see the error. It's not to make the error real and then forgive it. Ah, tough. You see where we're going. Do you see how far this is from the other forms of this that we've been taught? But never fear, There's one in you that if you trust him, he'll show you how to practice this new kind where you don't even recognize the illusion anymore. It'll show up, you'll immediately discount it as an illusion. This is where our practice is going. Comments from you? Well,
It's
are
pretty
we on
clear.
comment? Sorry.
I think it's pretty clear the way you state
Okay.
these things.
So this brings us in back to Frank on paragraph 3. So we just talked about one form of forgiveness to destroy. Frank?
Another form, still very like the first, if it is understood, does not appear in quite such blatant arrogance. The one who would forgive the other does not claim to be the better. Now he says instead, and here's one whose sinfulness he shares, as both have been unworthy and deserve the retribution of the wrath of God. This can appear to be humble thought and may indeed induce a rivalry in sinfulness and guilt. It is not love for God's creation and the holiness that is his gift forever. Call his son, condemning himself, and still remember him.
Read sentence 6 again for us, Frank. Sentence 6 in paragraph 3.
My eyes are a little blurry, okay.
Yeah, try it again if you don't mind. Let me read it for you, just so we're clear, because Jesus says, can his son condemn himself and still remember God? Okay, God, I'm your creation and I'm terrible. So what are you? Right? Okay. So do you see here? I would offer this in paragraph 2, the form of forgiveness to destroy says, I'm better than you. In paragraph 3, another form of forgiveness to destroy is, oh, girl, I'm worse than you are. It's a miss on either side of the coin. So don't get caught in either of these forms. Prayer is about equality. It's not about you being better than them or worse than them, or it's some kind of rivalry contest as which one is worse. That's not being gracious. It's not being honest. It's not being true. So let's go on to another and see what he said. Am I doing all right or going too fast?
Yeah, you're doing good.
All right, Sherilyn, we're at 4.
Paragraph 4. Here the goal is to separate from God the Son he loves and keep him from his source. This goal is also sought by those who seek the role of martyr at another's hand. Here must the aim be clearly seen, for this may pass as meekness and as charity instead of cruelty. Is it not kind to be accepting of another's spite and not respond except with silence and a gentle smile? Behold, how good are you who bear with patience and with saintliness the anger and the hurt another gives, and do not show the bitter pain you feel.
Yeah.
Mm.
I know you did it, but I'm just going to take it.
Yeah.
Okay, because Man, I'm a sinner too. I deserve it. Go ahead, give it to me. How we doing? Okay. You
Yeah.
see these fake.
I love that phrase, seek the role of martyr. Like
Yeah.
some people like to be a martyr.
Oh, yes.
Yes, yes. The ego doesn't care how it makes you special. As long as you're special, you can be specially good or specially bad. As long as it's different and serves your pride and your specialness. I think we're doing okay. I'm looking at
Yeah.
faces that are with understanding. However, I have not heard from my friend Hilda. What are your thoughts at this point? You're one of our sage people.
Oh, well, I'm digesting all this, but it's I think it's really hard. I find myself personally a kind of waffling all over the place all the time, really, because
Yeah.
uh, the temptation is there on level two, anyways, to express the idea as like in paragraph two, that you have the answer and you give it to somebody who needs it, which makes it that you feel superior to it. And that's really not true. Or you get angry at somebody and then you go back to realize to say, well, whatever this person is doing, there's probably a little bit of that in me too. So who am I to judge them? But
You know,
it's
moreover, it's not in you either.
right,
Remember, you got two voices that see things exactly the opposite.
right.
So, this whole thing about the need for forgiveness is only there because you think you did something wrong. Nobody did anything wrong. It's impossible. So, here in level two, we think it's a judgment call. It's not really, but I'll play your game. So, what I want you to do is to learn that when you see something that's not loving, it cannot be real. As incredible as that may sound to you, as disrespectful of all your logic and everything you've ever learned and believed, with all due respect, you're mistaken. You've created a mess. I can show you how to get out of it, but you got to do what I say. So, along the way, your ego will try and interfere and make different versions of the truth. Okay, sometimes it'll make you the conqueror. I'm better than you, right, Hilda?
Yeah.
But the other side of that same coin is I'll make you a martyr. And so you give up yourself to the other one to show you're the better person that way. Neither of those is forgiveness, but a lot of us have been taught that it is. Did I take over all the stuff you were going to say, Hildegard? I'm so
Pretty
sorry.
much. Pretty much. It sort of reminds me of the revival meetings that I used to have to go to, to bear yourself. I done wrong, babe. I'm a worm.
Yeah.
I'm a no good,
And
whatever.
one nice thing is here's one of the few places you can come, uh, and you can't do anything wrong enough to change how we feel about you. We're kind of like your dog. No matter what you did outside, when you get home, you're gonna have a friend, right? Unconditional love. So here you come, you can be like with your dog and feel like you're in a safe place at all times. We love you. We love each other. We love everything. And fortunately, that is the truth. That's what they're saying here. Um,
I have
Uncle,
a question, Jim, about that last sentence in paragraph 4, sentence 5. How good are you to bear with patience and saintliness the anger and hurt another gives? Is that saying we should speak up and say something
no,
or?
no. It's just going along with this parody.
Mhm.
Uh,
Behold how good you are who bear with patience when with saintliness. Beat me, boss. I'm bad. I deserve another 20 lashes. Okay. I'm just going to take it. I deserve it. It's just following along with the scenario that you're lower than the person.
Mhm.
I forgive you. I'm as bad as you are. In fact, I'm worse than you. Hit me again. That's forgiveness to destroy. I'm not mad at you. I deserve
right.
it. Okay? Helpful?
Yes, okay.
I
It's
know
very interesting.
it's a lot to absorb at first, and I appreciate that. So thank you for y'all, all of you, for hanging in there. I think we're doing very well with this material. Um,
Mhm.
are we up to Frank for 5?
Yes. To somebody, I did 4.
My turn already?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, paragraph 4, isn't it?
No, I did 4. We're
Oh,
on
okay.
5 now.
I'm sorry. We're on 5, Frank.
Okay. Forgiveness to destroy will often hide behind a cloak like this. It shows the face of suffering and pain in silent proof of guilt and of the ravages of sin. Such is the witness that it offers, one who should be savior and an enemy. But having been made enemy, he must accept the guilt and heavy laid reproach that thus is put upon him. Is this love, or is it rather treachery to one who needs salvation from the pain of guilt? What would the purpose be except to keep the witnesses of guilt away from him, away from love?
And let's do Sherilyn and then we'll discuss, okay?
Forgiveness to destroy can also take the form of bargaining and compromise. I will forgive you if you meet my needs, for your slavery is my release. Say this to anyone and you are a slave, and you will seek to rid yourself of guilt in further bargains, which can give no hope, but only greater pain and misery. How fearful has forgiveness now become, and how distorted is the end it seeks. Have mercy on yourself who bargains thus. God gives and does not ask for recompense. There is no giving but to give like him. All else is mockery. For who would try to strike a bargain with the Son of God and thank his Father for his holiness? I goofed that, I think.
No, you're fine.
Oh, okay. I guess I did. I don't
In
think my
this
eyes are
one,
seeing together.
it becomes rather sacrilegious, this type of forgiveness, because it turns holiness into transactions. I'll give you this if you give me this in return. My giving is contingent upon getting, isn't it? I'll
Mhm.
forgive you, dear, if you never do that, if you promise to never do that again.
Yeah.
Is that a good example of bargain?
Yes.
Okay. So
You know,
Jesus,
I've been experiencing a lot of these things with some situations where I live, and it's really hard. It's hard to forgive, you know, it's just it's not it doesn't come naturally for the human being, for the ego. It's just really difficult.
and
You need
that's
to,
why you have to appreciate it.
yeah,
It is hard, but what we're saying is it's doable.
yes. And it's comforting.
And it
That's
also has the effect that once you see it work, it will get easier
mhm.
because you have evidence of the miracle. I had no idea it would, I never even occurred to me that this could be to my benefit.
Mhm.
As hard as it was, it ended up beneficial.
Mhm.
And not only to me, but to the other party and to any observers of what happened.
Yes.
It's like when you go to the movies and in the end, every day all start hugging each other and stuff. Have you ever noticed how the actors on the stage or the screen are happy, but
Mhm.
everybody in the audience goes, "Oh." What is the phenomenon that triggers that, not only between the parties, but also the observers of it?
Mhm.
It just touches everyone's heart. So I've forgotten where I was. We
7.
did 6 and 7, right?
I just read 5, did I not? Let's see.
Yeah, somebody just read 6.
6.
Forgiveness to
Yes, that's right.
and
It
that's where you.
it was I. It was I.
So, what do
From
you
7.
see
We'll
another
forgive,
form?
we'll forgive you.
Okay, so another form.
Thank you.
Yes, we forgive you. It never happened. Another form then is bargaining. Is that a nice short way to put it? Forgiveness is not bargaining. So let's go to Joan for paragraph 7, please.
Okay, paragraph 7. What would you show your brother? Would you try to reinforce his guilt and thus your own? Forgiveness is the means for your escape. How pitiful it is to make of it the means for further slavery and pain. Within the world of opposites, there is a way to use forgiveness for the goal of God and find the peace he offers you. Take nothing else, or you have sought your death and prayed for separation from yourself. Christ is for all because he is in all. It is his face forgiveness lets you see. It is his face in which you see your own.
So, what happens when you forgive Remember we said you replace it with Christ's vision?
Yes.
Maybe that was kind of not quite the terminology that's most practical. You don't even have to replace it with Christ's vision. Christ's vision will be there when you forgive. It'll be there automatically. So if you want to think about it more practically, let me save you a step. Don't worry about replacing. The replacement will happen of itself. We just have to do the forgiving step. And it can't be any of these crappy forms that were just described. So don't get caught in the hype. Okay, don't go out there trying to forgive the way the world taught you, because like everything else the world taught you, that's not it. Okay, it's a substitute, it's an egoic trick. So I'm saying beware. Did we finish this? No. How much
No.
do we have left? I've forgotten.
Paragraph 8 is left.
Ah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's me. Okay. All forms forgiveness takes that do not lead away from anger, condemnation, and comparisons of every kind are what?
Yeah.
Yes.
For that is what their purposes have set. Sounds like the ego, right?
Mm-hmm.
Be not deceived by them, but lay them by as worthless in their tragic offerings. You do not want to stay in slavery. You do not want to be afraid of God. You want to see the sunlight and the glow of heaven shining on the face of earth, redeemed from sin and in love of God. For here is prayer released along with you. Your wings are free, and prayer will lift you up and bring you home where God would have you be. I thought that was well written. How about you?
Yes.
The whole thing is well written.
As crazy as you might think it, when you give him a chance to explain it, he's a pretty good explainer, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Stuff that wasn't even on my radar as to
Right.
what reality is.
Mhm.
We
Doesn't it
can,
say somewhere in the course that all forgiveness is self-forgiveness?
yes,
That makes sense. Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
What's out there? I know it sounds crazy, and we like each other, and we meet a lot of people, and we like them too. But we are projecting. Did you get that video I sent on Hermeticism?
Yes.
There are those 7 laws. The first law is the law of mentalism. This was 600 years before Christ. They said in Hermeticism, everything is mental. The course came out in 1976. What does it say? Everything is. Starts with an M.
Mental.
Mental.
Okay. Okay. So if there's nobody out there, if it's all in my head and there's a mistake, who needs to correct it?
Me.
You do.
Your face? or the bathroom mirror?
Faith.
Your face. Because that's the only thing that's real. It's just a projecting machine. That's how you can have whatever you want. Just think you have it and you will. As a man thinketh, so is he. That is so friggin' true, isn't it? And woman thinketh. Let's get into this last section. We're back to Frank, and we may finish this stuff on time here. Let's see. Frank, you ready?
Yes, Roman numeral number 3.
That's it.
My tongue-tied. Forgiveness for salvation. Paragraph 1. Forgiveness for salvation has one form and only one. It does not ask for proof of innocence nor pay of any kind. It does not argue nor evaluate the errors that it wants to overlook. It does not offer gifts in treachery nor promise freedom while asks for death. Would God deceive you? He but asks for trust and willingness to learn how to be free. He gives his teacher to whoever asks and seeks to understand the will of God. His readiness to give lies for far beyond your understanding, and your simple grasp. Yet he has willed you learn the way to him, and in his willing there is certainty.
Let's continue. Who's our next reader, Cheryl?
I am, yeah. You, child of God, the gifts of God are yours, not by your plans, but by his holy will. His voice will teach you what forgiveness is and how to give it as he wills it be. Do not, then, seek to understand what is beyond you yet, but let it be a way to draw you up to where the eyes of Christ become the sight you choose. Give up all else, for there is nothing else. When someone calls for help in any form, he is the one to answer for you. All that you need do is to step back and not to interfere. Forgiveness for salvation is his task, and it is he who will respond for you.
You know, do me a favor, somebody, look up lesson 155 and just read the title on that one. Lesson 155.
Was there?
Mm-hmm. Y'all taking too long now.
Yeah.
I'm so on is that I will step back and let him lead the way.
That's what it reminded me of, what he just said here. Give up all else, for there is nothing else. When someone calls for help in many ways, in any form, he is the one to answer you. All that you need do is to step back and do not interfere. Is that another way of saying let go and let God?
Sounds like
Sounds like it.
I'm going to
I've
have
been
to do
thinking,
a thing on metaphors one day. Hilda?
I just want to say, when we were going through the prior section, I said, all you really can condense it all into one little sentence, like let go, let God. And that's all.
Surrender. Right.
That solves everything.
Yeah. I remember early in the text of the course, you remember that, where Jesus says, resign now as your own teacher. Okay. Okay. Thankfully, look, you need a savior. And fortunately, I've anticipated your need and provided a savior, your teacher, your comforter, your guide, your answer machine, your every need. What do they call that teacher in this book? Starts with a
Holy Spirit.
okay. So I knew you was gonna get in trouble. So, when you discover it for yourself, never fear. I got you a good teacher, and I put it in your head along with that voice you made. Where's that Monday night where we do the chart about the mind and the split
Yeah,
mind? So
yeah.
some of you here haven't seen it, but that's where we are. And he's getting ready to say more about let me step. I will step back and let him lead the way. So we're up to paragraph 3, aren't we?
Yes.
Joan, are we at Joan?
Okay,
I
did
just,
Sharon just read?
yes.
Okay, okay,
Still in red, yeah.
okay. Paragraph 3.
Yes.
Do not establish what the form should be that Christ's forgiveness takes. He knows the way to make of every call a help to you as you arise in haste to go at last unto your Father's house. Now can he make your footsteps sure, your words sincere, not with your own sincerity, but with his own. Let him take charge of how you would forgive, and each occasion then will be to you another step to heaven and to peace. So I will step back and let him lead the way, huh?
Let go and let God.
Yeah.
But
That's
you
right.
gotta actually do it. Okay.
Mhm.
I remember Wayne Dyer, one of those videos, and he had dropped a coin or something, and he kept saying, I can pick this coin up. I can pick this coin up. I'm almost there. Just a little bit more. I'm getting, uh, all right, I'll come and finish later. He was just making excuses. Yoda
Mhm.
would say, do or do
Well,
not.
yeah.
Don't tell me, you don't have to talk me through your efforts. This is not a matter of effort. Do or do not. So if I am saying I'm going to step back, I actually have to take my hands off of it, don't I?
Mhm.
By the way, are there any benefits to that, as difficult as it may seem? Not only theoretically will my problems be solved according to this, but in the meantime, what's the benefit to me? I don't have to do anything.
Mhm.
There's a lot of ease and peace in not having to do anything, isn't there?
Yes.
I mean, how great is it to have something done for you? It's almost like having a servant, isn't
All
it? All right. Um, we're up to Frank, right? I'm getting
So we're up
confused.
to you.
I miss myself every time. Am
right.
I on 4? I'm on 4.
Right.
Are you not weary of imprisonment? God did not choose this sorry path for you. What you have chosen still can be undone, for prayer is merciful and God is just. His is a justice he can understand. but you cannot as yet. Still will he give the means to you to learn of him and know at last that condemnation is not real and makes illusions in its evil name. And yet it matters not the form that dreams may seem to take. Illusions are untrue. God's will is truth, and you are one with him in will and purpose. When I fully accept that, here are dreams done. Now, when I fully accept that, who's I? I is a collective. It is not an individual. I cannot accept it for myself alone, but it can't happen if I don't accept it either. We're all in this together. That is the truth. Comments from anybody?
It mentions the word choice several times throughout all of this. I mean, is a lot of it our decision to forgive?
Yes, it's a
Yeah.
decision in your state. It's not really a decision. It's only that you got two voices in your head. That is not natural. Everybody you know has two voices, so it seems that that's natural. I'm telling you, it's not natural to have two voices in your head telling you opposite things. But I will also tell you the silver lining. Of the two voices, only one is real. And I've explained to you why only one is real. The only way for you to get out of this dilemma is to choose one master, because two masters makes no sense, does it?
No.
You're just going to blow your head off. You can't follow two masters pulling in opposite directions. But the good thing is, one of them is the one you made, which is BS. And the other one is the one that was made for you and everyone. Which one are you going to choose? Can't have both. Anyhow, that's kind of a rhetorical question at this time. Let's finish this up. I think we can. We're back now to Frank, aren't we?
I think so.
Paragraph 5, please. You got it?
Paragraph 5.
Yes.
What should I do for him, your holy son? Should be the only thing you ever ask when help is needed and forgiveness sought. The form the seeking takes you need not judge, and let it not be you who sets the form in which forgiveness comes to save God's Son. The light of Christ in him is the release, and it is this that answers to his call. Forgive him as the Christ decides you should, and his eyes through which you seek on him, and speaks for him as well. He knows the need, the question, and answer. He will say exactly what to do in words that you can understand and you can also use. Do not confuse his son with your own.
No, his function, Frank.
Sorry?
Did you say, read 8
Yeah,
again? Maybe I misheard it.
no, he didn't.
Do not
Do not.
confuse his function with your own. You see?
This is the answer, you, the one who hears.
All right. So, do you see we're still talking about in order to make this work, I have to step back and let him do it. He knows how to do it. I'm a perceiver. This teacher is a knower. Which one would you choose? A perceiver or a knower to get things done right?
A
That's
knower.
all right. Thank you very much. We're up to whoever's next. We're at Sherilyn, isn't it?
Yes. What should I do for him, your holy son? Your
No, no, you six
That's five.
Oh, okay. Are we on four? We're on six,
on
aren't we?
six. Aren't
Okay.
we? Yeah.
Yes, yes. And what is it he speaks to you about? About salvation and the gift of peace, about the end of sin and guilt and death, about the role forgiveness has in him. Do you but listen? For he will be heard by anyone who calls upon his name and places his forgiveness in his hands. Forgiveness has been given him to teach, to save it from destruction, and to make the means for separation, sin, and death become again the holy gift of God. Prayer is his own right hand, made free to save as true forgiveness is allowed to come from his eternal vision, vigilance, and love. Listen and learn, and do not judge. It is to God you turn to hear what you should do. His answer will be clear as morning, nor is his forgiveness what you think it is.
Mm. Joan?
It's paragraph 7.
Mhm.
Still does he know, and that should be enough. Forgiveness has a teacher who will fail in nothing. Rest a while in this. Do not attempt to judge forgiveness, nor to set it in an earthly frame. Let it arise to Christ, who welcomes it as a gift to him. He will not leave you comfortless, nor fail to send his angels down to answer you in his own name. He stands beside the door to which forgiveness is the only key. Give it to him to use instead of you, and you will see the door swing silently open upon the shining face of Christ. Behold your brother there beyond the door, the Son of God as he created him. That
You,
is so beautiful. It almost makes me want to cry.
yeah, me too, Joni. How about the rest of you? Is it well done?
Yes.
Yeah, it's nice.
A Course in Miracles is still such a esoteric teaching. I remember again the disappearance of the universe. They said it'd be about 500 years before this course took off.
Yeah.
You read that far, right?
Mhm. Yes, I think I
Wish
did.
it were sooner, but hey, it is what it is according to God's plan. And if R10 and Purser are accurate predictors, so be it. In any event, this is such a masterpiece and so
Mhm.
well written, not just from a literary standpoint, but from an emotional standpoint for me. So I hope you got as much out of the Song of Prayer as I did this time around. And next time, we'll start on the last section
Goodness.
of the Song of Prayer, call healing. So it's going to go into several pages of what healing is and how healing, like forgiveness, is an activity that's an adjunct to prayer. Okay, this is the third part of what and how prayer works and is established. Any comments, questions you want to ask before we close? Did you have a good time?
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, it was worth my time. And I have to applaud you all to stay here 90 minutes of just reading and discussing. But again, I think it attests to what an interesting and valuable discussion we're having here. So I hope you're able to take it into your day-to-day life. I think you'll see it has numerous applications, this plan of salvation. Thank you for coming tonight, and we're ready to close out for the evening. You ready, Hilda?
I am ready.
All right, dear.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. I am the light of God.
I am
I
the light.
am the light
The
of
light
God.
of God.
I am the love of God.
I am
I
the
am
am the love
the
of
love
God.
of God.
I am the power of God.
I am
I am the
power
power of God.
God.
I am the presence of God.
I am
I
I
am the
am
presence of God.
God.
Therefore,
therefore
Therefore,
wherever I am,
wherever
wherever I
I
am,
God is,
God
God
am,
is,
and all is well.
and
and
all
and
all
all
is
is well.
well.
There is nothing to fear.
there is
There
There
is
is
nothing
nothing
to
to
fear.
fear.
There is only love.
there is
There is
There is
only
only
love.
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 Namaste.
And namaste.
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 Namaste to everyone. Thanks for a beautiful time. Take this.
Thank you, Jim.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank
absolutely.
you.
Take this into your week and let it keep your battery charged, because despite all appearances, we have it on good evidence that all is
Is
well.
well.
Peace out, dudes. See you later. Bye bye.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Okay.